Hello and welcome. This is Notibot ENG. I'm your anchor, Name, and this is your news recap. Tonight, we bring you the latest developments from the Middle East, where tensions between the US and Iran have escalated. The Strait of Hormuz, a critical shipping route, has been at the center of the conflict, with reports emerging of a potential deal between the US and Iran. Meanwhile, Ghislaine Maxwell's fate hangs in the balance as her lawyer hints at a possible pardon from none other than Donald Trump. Let's dive into the details of these stories and more. A growing diplomatic row between Iran and the United States is escalating, as tensions rise over the U.S. Maritime Blockade in the Strait of Hormuz. Iran's ambassador to the United Nations, Amir Saeed Iravani, has accused the United States of clear act of aggression for imposing a maritime blockade on Iran. This move has been met with criticism from Iran, which views the blockade as a violation of its sovereignty and territorial integrity. The United States has defended its actions, citing concerns over Iran's nuclear program and military activities in the region. The crisis began when the United States announced its intention to impose a maritime blockade on Iran, citing concerns over the country's nuclear program and military activities. Iran responded by threatening to close the Strait of Hormuz, a vital waterway that connects the Persian Gulf to the Arabian Sea. This situation matters because the Strait of Hormuz is a critical choke point for global oil supplies, with approximately 20% of the world's oil passing through the waterway. Any disruption to this supply chain could have significant economic and geopolitical implications. The situation also highlights the ongoing tensions between the United States and Iran, with both countries maintaining a tense relationship over issues such as nuclear proliferation and regional security. The involvement of other countries, including China and Russia, adds to the complexity of the situation, with all parties vying for influence in the region. The negotiations aimed at resolving the crisis have been ongoing, but the situation remains fluid and uncertain. As tensions escalate in the Middle East, President Trump has made a shocking claim, sparking a heated response from Iran and other regional players. The situation in the Middle East has taken a dramatic turn, with the United States, Iran, and Israel all involved. The crisis began when U.S. President Donald Trump claimed that Israel was not allowed to bomb Lebanon. He stated that Israel will not be bombing Lebanon any longer, and that they are prohibited from doing so by the USA. Trump's claim came just hours after Iran announced that it had removed sea mines from the Strait of Hormuz, a key waterway that connects the Persian Gulf to the Gulf of Oman. The U.S. had imposed a naval blockade on Iran, which Trump said was still in effect. However, Trump's claim that Israel was prohibited from bombing Lebanon appears to have been disputed by Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, who posted a video address on YouTube saying that Israel had agreed to a temporary ceasefire in Lebanon at the request of Trump. Netanyahu described the ceasefire as a combined political and military solution with the Lebanese government. The situation is complex, with multiple parties involved and competing interests at play. The US, Iran, and Israel all have significant stakes in the region, and the situation has the potential to escalate into further conflict. The fact that Trump claimed to have prohibited Israel from bombing Lebanon has added to the confusion, with many wondering what the implications of this claim are and whether it reflects a genuine shift in U.S. policy. The situation is fluid, and developments are unfolding rapidly. We will continue to monitor the situation and provide updates as more information becomes available. As tensions between Iran and the U.S. ease, a significant development has emerged from the Strait of Hormuz, a critical waterway in the region. A fragile ceasefire in Lebanon has led to a significant development in the long-standing tensions between the U.S. and Iran. Iran's Foreign Minister, Abbas Araghchi, has declared that the Strait of Hormuz will be fully open to commercial vessels for the remainder of the ceasefire. This declaration comes after a ceasefire agreement was reached between Israel and Lebanon, which took effect at midnight. President Donald Trump confirmed the news on social media, stating that Iran has just announced that the Strait of Hormuz is fully open and ready for full passage. Trump also reiterated that the U.S. naval blockade will remain in full force and effect until an agreement is reached with Tehran. However, the news has been met with skepticism by some, with Israel reportedly committing several violations of the ceasefire in Lebanon. The Lebanese army has stated that several villages in southern Lebanon were struck by intermittent shelling hours after Trump hailed the historic truce. The implications of this development are significant, as the Strait of Hormuz is a crucial waterway for global oil trade. The opening of the strait has been seen as a major concession by Iran, and it remains to be seen how this will impact the ongoing tensions between the U.S. and Iran. The situation in Lebanon is complex, with the fragile ceasefire and the presence of Hezbollah, a militant group that has been designated as a terrorist organization by the U.S. The U.S. has stated that it will work with Lebanon to address the situation, but it is unclear how this will be achieved. The situation in the region remains fluid, and further developments are expected in the coming days. As tensions continue to escalate between Iran and the West, a key diplomatic breakthrough in Lebanon has sparked a shift in the regional dynamics. Iran has declared the Strait of Hormuz, a crucial waterway connecting the Persian Gulf to the Gulf of Oman, open after negotiations with Lebanon, according to a statement from the Iranian military. The move comes amid heightened tensions between the U.S. and Iran over the U.S.'s withdrawal from the Intermediate-Range Nuclear Forces Treaty. The statement was made in response to the signing of a ceasefire agreement between Iran and Lebanon, mediated by Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, and Russia, according to reports. However, U.S. President Donald Trump has maintained that the U.S. blockade on Iran remains in place. The Strait of Hormuz is a critical shipping route for oil and has been the site of several recent incidents involving U.S. and Iranian forces. The U.S. has been working to strengthen its military presence in the region, including deploying additional troops and naval vessels. The tensions have raised concerns about the potential for miscalculation or conflict between the two nations. The Iranian military has been conducting large-scale war games in the region, which has heightened tensions. The development comes as the U.S. and Iran engage in a diplomatic standoff over the U.S.'s withdrawal from the Intermediate-Range Nuclear Forces Treaty. The treaty was signed in 1987 and banned the deployment of ground-launched missiles with ranges between 500 and 5,500 kilometers. The Iranian government has been critical of the U.S.'s actions, with Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei stating that the U.S. withdrawal from the treaty was an act of aggression. In a development that could potentially upend a long-standing justice case, it's now being suggested that Donald Trump's involvement in the pardon process. Ghislaine Maxwell, the British socialite and longtime associate of Jeffrey Epstein, has been serving a 20-year prison sentence for her role in sex trafficking minors. Epstein, a wealthy financier, was convicted in 2019 of soliciting prostitution from underage girls, and he died in prison by suicide in August of that year. Maxwell was charged with recruiting and grooming victims for Epstein, and her trial in 2021 revealed a complex web of abuse and manipulation. Maxwell's lawyer, David Oscar Marcus, believes that President Donald Trump is likely to pardon her due to her cooperation with the investigation. Marcus described Maxwell as a scapegoat who would not have been prosecuted if Epstein had not died in prison. He stated that there is a good chance of a pardon, citing her desire for clemency. The idea of a pardon for Maxwell has sparked strong opposition from lawmakers, particularly Democrats. Representative Robert Garcia has called pardoning Maxwell disgusting and outrageous, citing her role in trafficking young women and girls. Another victim of Epstein's abuse, Virginia Giuffre's brother, has also spoken out against a pardon, saying it would be a biggest slap in the face to his sister's memory. The potential pardon has also raised questions about the role of other individuals allegedly involved in Epstein's crimes. Maxwell has been cooperating with the investigation, providing information about other people who may have been involved in Epstein's sex trafficking ring. Some have suggested that a pardon for Maxwell could be a way to gain her cooperation and learn more about the extent of Epstein's crimes. However, many are skeptical of this reasoning, and the debate over a pardon for Maxwell continues to be highly contentious. That's all for today's news recap. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to stay informed about the latest developments, be sure to subscribe to our channel and follow us on social media. We'll continue to bring you the latest updates on the Iran-US crisis, Ghislaine Maxwell, and more. We'll see you in the next video.